All right, guys, so we got to talk about a TikTok that is going viral involving an altercation between some neighbors. You have a man who seems like a more zesty man, right? And a woman who is being deemed a Karen because she flipped over the man's doormat because the doormat had some type of profanity or obscenity on it. I think that she didn't want her kid to see it or something like that. And she flipped over the doormat, and they ended up getting into an altercation over what she did over a Ring video, right? So the Ring doorbell, where you can see video of people passing by and stuff like that, and you can talk to them through the doorbell. Yeah, all that was recorded, the altercation. And I want to chime in on this because I've done similar videos about subjects like this and how to think about these types of situations. So I want to chime in on it because, again, there are two sides to this argument here. There are two sides to the debate here in regards to who's right and who's wrong. And I want to, give my opinion on it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Neighbor puts Karen in check for flipping his rug.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you pick my rug back? Can you pick my rug back up? Because I saw that you flipped it over earlier. It was not bothering you or anyone.
Sir, I don't think it's appropriate.
It does not matter.
I live here. This is a.
It does not matter what you deem appropriate. Nobody else has said anything about it. That does not give you the right to touch anything on my damn porch. You can go up there and tell your goddamn husband to come see me when I come home. I'll be home at 5:30. Make sure you out. Make sure you're there, ma'am. So you come down and talk. Take your shake ass upstairs.
Sir, do you want to talk to me again?
How can I help you?
Look, I'm not trying to be ugly, and I'm not trying to cause any scene with you whatsoever. We live in a family environment here. I have children here too. To me, having the F word on your doormat is not respectful of anyone that lives here.
And it's not respectful of you to touch my property. It's not bothering anybody. I have my neighbors across the hall.
I'll pay you for your mat. I will pay you for your mat, but get that out of here. I don't know what made you change it to something so ugly as that, but I'm not going to. No, that's not the environment.
Because I've heard you stand in front of my Ring doorbell and talk about me, which was inappropriate of you. When you know.
What did I say about you? I haven't said anything about
ma'am, you can lie to Jesus Christ if you feel that is the truth. I don't care. You have talked about me in front of my Ring doorbell. I have proof of it. I have no reason to lie on you, make anything up on you, ma'am. So please, you could just move away from my door. Do not touch anything. You have been reported to the office. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Get a life.
You get a life, you mad old. You don't. Apparently you don't, you old heifer. Get on up them steps.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, that's a hilarious situation. And I'm doing this video because it reminds me so much of the videos I've done about the left and the liberals that melt down in tears over the F Biden, right, or F Joe Biden flags. Even after they, endorsed and supported the F Trump flags. We've seen so much backlash against, people who fly, these flags or whatever that say F Joe Biden because of the profanity and the obscenity of it, right? But in those situations, I've always stood on the side of freedom of speech, right? And property ownership, right? Which is exactly what this situation is right here as well. Like, I don't support the guy putting the F word on his doormat. Do I think that it's a tasteful thing to do? Not really. Okay. Do I think that it is considerate of other people around him? No. Is it something that I would do? No. But that doesn't change the fact that that doormat is his property, right? And this woman should not have touched his property and flipped over the doormat just because it had the F word on it. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I understand that she has kids. She's trying to protect her kids from, mean words, and that's fine. I get that. I understand that. But, we live in the real world, and in public, people are going to, do things and say things that are obscene. That doesn't mean that we should be supporting it or promoting it or encouraging people to do that. But at the same time, people got to realize, hey, there are things out there in the world that kids will get exposed to, and you can't be, super afraid to have your kids be exposed to some things that, hey, it's not necessarily going to be comfortable, but this is the world, right? This is the reality of the world that people do, use curse words, they curse, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Now, if this lady had such a big problem with it, she should have went to the front office, right? You go to the front office and you say, hey, this person has an obscene doormat outside of their apartment. My kids are uncomfortable. And, I'm wondering if this is against, policy for the apartment complex. What can be done about it? That's what you do, right? You take it up with the front office. What you don't do is take matters into your own hands and, try to flip over the doormat yourself, touch his property, when, again, that's not your responsibility. That is not something you should do. And quite honestly, this is how people get hurt, right? This is how unnecessary altercations, this is how unnecessary arguments, this is how unnecessary fights start. When you try to take matters into your own hands, that really should be relegated to the authorities that handle stuff like this. Because if it's against the apartment complex rules for him to have that, then let the apartment complex deal with it. But if it's not against the apartment complex's rules, then, you got to deal with it, right? Maybe tell your kids to cover their eyes every single time they come upstairs or something like that. Maybe that's what you do. But what you don't do is that you don't touch the property of somebody else simply because it has a word up there that you don't like. Again, I've done so many videos about this when it comes to the F Joe Biden flag. I have no choice but to default to this position, right? Just for consistency sake, because I do think that it's weird to have a doormat that has the F word on it. I'm not sure exactly what it said. But I've done videos where, people have had the F Joe Biden flag flown in their yard, and it's across the street from elementary school, right? I'm just saying, right? At that point, it's still that man's private property or that person's private property. They can fly whatever flags they want to fly. It doesn't matter if it's located across the school. Do I think that, again, it is the most tasteful thing to do? No, absolutely not. Okay, do I think it's the most considerate thing to do? No. But again, that is their right. They can do that on their own property. Now, again, in this case, we talk about apartment complex. I'm not sure if he owns the condo, if he owns the unit or whatever. I'm not sure what rules regulate what they can and cannot have outside of their doorstep. But if it's against the rules, then you take it up with the apartment complex, or you go to him directly and you politely and kindly ask that, hey, can you change your doormat, or could you do something about that F word being there, because I have kids and I don't want them to be exposed to profanity and obscenities like that. You ask him nicely. And again, if he says no, if he doesn't want to do it, then you go to the apartment complex. If the apartment complex says that, hey, it's against the rules, then they will deal with it. And if it's not against the rules, if he's allowed to do it, then you just got to deal with it, right? The last thing that you do, or this is what you don't do at all, really. What you don't do is touch somebody else's property. You don't take matters into your own hands like that, because, again, that is how people end up getting hurt. That's how unnecessary fights happen. That is how, people sometimes end up losing their lives, okay? Because they take steps that they otherwise should not take in situations like that. It's just better to deal with it in a different way than that, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.